Imagine waking up before sunrise in a quiet Florida forest. The stillness only broken by the chirp of birds and the rustle of leaves. You sip your coffee, your dog barks, nothing seems out of place. But then, out of the tree line, a shadow moves. A black bear steps into your yard, not curious, not afraid, predatory. In mere seconds, everything unravels. Your loyal dog lunges to protect you. But you're 89, alone and too far from help. What happens next? Horrific. A savage encounter that leaves only silence in its wake. And the terrifying truth? It could happen to anyone, even you, because when nature turns, it doesn't knock, it breaks in. Welcome to Savage Tales, Animal Encounters, the channel where nature's fiercest moments come alive. Here we explore real-life encounters between humans and the wild, raw, unfiltered and often unthinkable. From remote bear attacks to chilling shark strikes, these aren't just stories, they're warnings, they're lessons. They're survival etched in fur, fang and fear. Before we dive into today's chilling case out of Florida, a suspected fatal bear attack that could be the state's first on record, help this channel survive and thrive by doing these 4 things. Like this video if you're fascinated by the power and unpredictability of wildlife. Comment below with your thoughts, questions, or any encounters of your own. We read every single one. Subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a tale. Trust me, some stories you'll want to hear in daylight. Share this with a friend who thinks bears are just cuddly forest creatures. They might think twice, so buckle up, stay alert and get ready, because when nature strikes back, it leaves a savage tale behind. It was a quiet Monday morning in the heart of Collier County, Florida, just outside the sleepy, swamp-lined edges of Everglades City. The time? A little before 7 a.m. The skies were still tinged with the golden blush of sunrise, casting long shadows over the dense foliage. The air was thick with humidity. Still, quiet, the kind of morning that felt timeless, untouched. On the outskirts of a rural property, nestled far from any main road, lived Robert Markel, an 89-year-old man who'd spent the last few years of his life in peaceful seclusion. His only full-time companion? A faithful dog, always by his side, the kind of bond only forged through years of shared solitude. They lived simply, off the land under the trees with the sounds of owls at night and cicadas by day. Robert was no stranger to nature. He'd seen gators slide across the back of his property, snakes sunbathing on his porch and raccoons thieving from his trash cans. That's life in the wild edge of Florida. That's what he loved about it. But what he didn't know, what no one could have known, was that a dangerous presence had been silently moving through the nearby woods, watching, following scent trails, getting closer. A bear, not a myth, not a harmless forest drifter. A full-grown black bear, likely agitated, possibly hungry, or worse, defensive. Just days earlier, there had been increased reports of bear activity in the area. Trash cans overturned, claw marks on trees. A few homeowners even caught grainy footage of shadowy figures rifling through their yards. But these bears usually fled at the first sign of humans. That morning, though, something was different. According to reports, Robert's daughter had come to visit briefly that day. She arrived early, around dawn, perhaps to bring groceries, perhaps just to check in. She wasn't staying long. As she stepped out of her vehicle and onto the familiar gravel path leading to the house, she noticed something. The dog was barking, violently, not in excitement, not in play. This was a warning bark, low, rapid, frantic, the kind of bark that comes from instinct, from fear. And then she saw it. A massive shape, a bear, dark-furred and wide-shouldered, emerging from the brush near the edge of the tree line. In a flash, the bear lunged at the dog. The daughter watched, helpless as the animal clamped its jaws down, attacking the pup just yards from the home. Panic, screams. The sound of the forest seemed to vanish as reality snapped into slow motion. She called 911. Authorities were notified. But what no one knew in those early moments, what hadn't yet been discovered, was the real horror waiting just behind the house. Because while the bear was attacking the dog in plain view, something far more tragic had already happened. Robert Markel was nowhere to be seen. When first responders arrived, they found the dog already dead. But Robert, He was found only minutes later, lifeless on the property. What had happened in the hour, or perhaps hours before the call was made, remains uncertain, but investigators believe he was attacked first, maybe in his yard, maybe on his porch, perhaps while trying to protect his dog. We may never know the exact moment, but what we do know is this: a bear was on the property, and blood had already been spilled. What followed next would send shockwaves across Florida. A suspected fatal bear attack, possibly the first of its kind in the state's recorded history. So what kind of bear was this? Why did it attack? And how did officials track it down in the darkness? Let's uncover the chilling details of Florida's most savage wildlife encounter yet. The moment the bear attacked, everything changed. What authorities believe happened is this. Robert Markel, at 89 years old, was a man of quiet strength, but even strength has limits. As the bear silently crept onto his property, likely drawn by the scent of food or simply encroaching territory, Robert may have been caught completely off guard. Florida black bears are generally shy and avoid humans, but when cornered, threatened or desperate, they can become dangerous. Witnesses never saw the initial attack. The daughter only saw the final, horrifying moments, when the bear turned its full, brutal attention on the dog. Emergency responders arrived minutes after the 911 call. They found the dog, already lifeless, and a scene soaked in tragic silence. And then, behind the house lay Robert Markel. Officials described the scene as grisly. Multiple wounds consistent with bear mauling, deep lacerations, broken bones, and claw marks that told a story of a desperate struggle. It was clear this was no defensive encounter. It was a fatal attack. The exact timeline remains uncertain. Did Robert try to fend off the bear? Did he call out for help? Or was the attack swift and sudden? These questions may never be answered. DNA samples were collected from the wounds and the scene itself. Wildlife officials worked quickly to confirm the presence of the bear's DNA, crucial to ensure no other predators were involved. In the hours that followed, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission sprang into action. Officer George Reynaud and his team set up 4 bear traps around the perimeter. They secured the area, warning nearby residents and visitors to stay clear. Public safety was paramount. The bear, likely still roaming nearby, was considered extremely dangerous. Reports from locals began to surface, sounds of rustling in the woods, strange growls, and then a series of loud pops heard twice over 45 minutes, gunshots fired in an effort to neutralize the threat. At approximately 9 p.m., wildlife officers finally located a bear's body deep in the woods. Though the bear was dead, the community was left shaken. For many Floridians, this was a chilling wake-up call. A fatal bear attack was not supposed to happen here. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission estimates the state's black bear population at around 4,000, spread from Ocala National Forest to the swamps of Eglin Air Force Base. Despite this, the bears rarely attack humans. Most encounters end with the bears fleeing, sometimes with only minor injuries inflicted if a person panics or makes a sudden movement. But this incident starkly reminded everyone, wildlife is wild. And when pushed or provoked, nature's most powerful creatures can become deadly. The aftermath has left Robert's family devastated, their grief echoed by a community grappling with fear and loss. As investigations continue and DNA results are awaited, authorities have emphasized key safety guidelines for residents. Never run from a bear. Do not climb trees. They can climb faster. Slowly back away while avoiding direct eye contact. If attacked, fight back with everything you have, rocks, sticks, even bare hands. This is survival in the wild. Robert Markel's tragic death serves as a stark reminder that even in our modern world, the ancient rules of nature still apply. The wild waits, patient and untamed, ready to reclaim what it needs and to defend its domain with savage force. In the wake of this tragedy, Florida officials and residents alike are asking difficult questions about coexistence, safety, and respect for the wild. What can we learn from this fatal encounter? How do we protect ourselves while respecting the natural world? Join us next as we explore these questions and share more incredible and sometimes terrifying stories from the animal kingdom. Until then, stay vigilant, stay safe, and remember, in the wild, every step counts. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Savage Tales Animal Encounters. We know these stories can be intense, but they remind us all how wild and unpredictable nature truly is. If you found this video gripping, helpful, or eye-opening, please take a moment to smash that like button. It really helps our channel grow and brings more incredible animal encounters to you. Got thoughts or questions about today's story? Maybe a personal encounter with wildlife? Drop your comments below. We love hearing from our community and read every single message. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a savage tale from the depths of the animal kingdom. And don't keep these stories to yourself. Share this video with friends, family, or anyone who loves the raw power of the wild. Remember, when it comes to nature, respect and caution are our best allies. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep exploring, because here on Savage Tales, Animal Encounters, the wild never stops telling its story. See you in the next video.